Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So Ask Me Anything with Valerie Hunt, Run RX. And this week we've got some great questions. So I'm going to just tell you right up front what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about breathing, and we're going to talk about using hops for active recovery from shin splints or calf pain, plantar fasciitis. And I wanted to say, someone reached out to me also about asking, what were they asking me? About fueling for running. And so one of the things that I kind of want to always talk about, run pain-free, is that's my first goal for everybody. So most people reach out to me when they're in pain. It's usually I have my shins hurt, my calves hurt, my something hurts. And then once we get through that, then we can go on to talk about things like that. So I ever think I'm ignoring anybody's questions, but on this format itself, I tend to just stick to running as a movement itself. However, I do definitely love good conversations on fueling. But I will say one thing. So most of you guys, if you are running and you have an injury, the number one question is, should I keep running? And so I'm going to give you two things to think about when you answer that question back. So one of the things is that we used to say to people, just run through it. That's how I was raised. I was raised with run through the pain. And then you're just running right to a shin splint or plantar fasciitis or stress fracture or whatever. The question needs to be, before I go back out for my running, if I can run in place without pain, then I should be able to take it out, right? Because why should it change when I go out for my run if it does not hurt in place? And the thing is, running is a really high impact activity, right? And we now know from research that if your foot lands out ahead of you, it's like 3 times your body weight. So if you're running and you're planning on doing this when you go running and you already have an injury, I would probably advise against that. Same thing if like my foot's out here 3 times my body weight. If my foot's somewhere behind me, it's like having a 30-pound weight on the ankle. It puts a load on the whole posterior chain, but especially that hamstring. So if you're thinking, I'm going out today to hit the ground with 3 times my body weight and then put a 30-pound weight on my hamstring, and I'm already injured, I would say please do not do that. However, what I would like to do is we're going to talk about, like I said, breathing as well, but also if I have a pain, what am I going to do? Well, I highly suggest you go through the reboot on our Run RX YouTube channel, 30-day reboot, because I ask people, if you have a shin splint, if you have planters, if you have hip, IT band, knee, all of these things, what's amazing is they're all coming from one thing. Yes, you have tight hips, yes, whatever. But what's causing the pain from the run is I'm on the ground too long. You are pushing or reaching or both, and simply staying on the ground too long is just doing some kind of wear and tear. So maybe you're feeling it in your shin or your hip or wherever, and yes, you need to address that. So we'll talk about that. However, if I can get into the habit of thinking and understanding of what running actually is, I may hurt less, and then think, oh, well, you know what? If I'm going to go out today and just simply use muscle elasticity, pull my foot from the ground, and allow myself to fall forward naturally using gravity and reduce impact by 50%, then I would say absolutely go for it. So one of the things that, by the way, the reason I got into teaching running, I was a group fitness instructor. I taught tons of indoor classes and personal training, lots of strength training stuff. So when I started running, the first thing I got was shin splints. And then I got planters, I had a stress fracture. I mean, I had pain in my hamstring. And I was like, I exercise 3 hours a day, teaching classes, doing exercise weights, not hurting at all. What's going on here, right? So I came into it the same way most of you guys come into it, where it looks really fun, but why does it hurt so bad? And I just discovered I wasn't running correctly. So I literally have spent the last 20 years teaching other people how to do this so they don't hurt. That's it. That's my goal in life. So one of the things that I'm going to ask you is, how much hopping have you been doing? Say you do have shin splints, or you've been training for a race or any kind of running event. If running itself is a high impact activity, what kind of preparation are you giving your feet, your joints, your knees, your hips, all of that in preparation for the impact you're about to put on them? That's where the practice comes in. So it's like going to training, right? I'm getting my body ready for what's about to happen out there. And if I think about the correct movement, here's the best part: when you run, not only will you reduce impact, but instead of trying to push your body weight and then land 3 times your body weight, 2%. When you fall and pull your foot from the ground, you're pulling 2% of your body weight. Isn't that crazy? So wouldn't you rather do that? I would. So let's talk about for just a second, and I'll do breathing last, because I'm going to talk about how if you actually are running correctly, you will probably realize that you were just probably using too much tension somewhere in your running, trying to run maybe past a point than you were ready for, but we'll talk about it. So first, just put your weight, your body weight, distributed evenly between both feet. So you're on the ball of your foot. And without jumping, just bounce a second. See, this is elasticity, right? This is elasticity. So it is only on the balls of your feet, because try to be on your heels. And now try to do that. There's no elasticity there. I have nothing against the heel itself. It's just that's not where elasticity is. Elasticity is on the ball of the foot. So from here, can you hop? Yeah, you can hop. So this is hopping. So it's not jumping. Jumping would be trying to, like, you see, that's jumping, and ow, pure impact. That's what your feet feel, your knees feel, your hips, if that's how you're hitting the ground. So think about it. If you're trying to extend your foot forward, bam, that's what you just did, right? We don't want to jump. We don't want to do any of that. We want to hop like a rubber band and use our own muscle elasticity. So when you separate your feet, you're just giving yourself less weight. See? This is all of my body weight. This is like half. So I want you to just feel a nice light hop. And then you can sense, there's the ball of my foot, right? Especially if you're a little bit injured and you don't want to put a lot of impact. Switch feet, right? See, it's just an up. It's just a nice little hop in place. In running, we don't want to hop. We don't want to bounce, because that would take us up. So in running, that elasticity that you're training and developing in place will take that, think about it, that bounce is your forward travel. You will spring forward, if you will, using elasticity. You're not going to go up. So what's challenging is, yes, in place, I'm just practicing this hop. When I run, if you watch my head, I didn't jump. I didn't jump. I fell forward and I pulled my foot. So the hop helps you to feel that split second of rebounding. That up feeling. Now pull in place with me just for a second. We're gonna go up, 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 up. Just right up off the ground, not very high. Just feel that. Up, 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 up. That's what running feels like. You are responding that when you pull your foot, what puts your foot down? Gravity. You'll never be faster than gravity. It's the way it goes. So if you try to work on the down, you're going to add impact to your run. You're going to add load to your run. You don't want to do that. There's already that going on. You pull, gravity puts it down. And then the minute you sense, the second you sense that it's down, you pull it back up. Up, 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 up. See, that's your job, is to pull the foot up once gravity's put it back down. The challenge is in traveling. Because if I try to run like that, if I try to use my legs to move my body, whoo, yeah, your heart rate's gonna be up, but your muscles are gonna be tired. If we sat here right now for 30 minutes, guys, and we did this, you know how tired we'd be? But not only would we be tired, it's not a tired cardiovascular, it's a tired fatigue from muscular effort. My calves would be tired, my hamstrings would be tired. That's not what we want when we run. We want when we run to be able to keep going. We want our hearts to be pounding, right? Depending on the length and the intensity or whatever I'm doing for my run, I want to run and save my joints and my muscles and work my cardiovascular system. And then that's my choice. Your choice on speed becomes you using gravity, which is already happening, right? I mean, we're standing here, but if I allow my body weight to go forward, my feet pull to keep up. That is such a great feeling, I can't tell you. You reduce impact, you like to run more, and it's so simple to practice, it's a challenge to feel. That's kind of where we get stuck. And so, hold on, somebody had a question. Okay. All right. Okay. 3 great questions. And they're all just what I said. So somebody said, I have pain on the outside of my foot. Do you think that I might be pronating or supinating? Great question. The second person said, should I implement this when I walk? Yes, in 1,000%, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And then the third question was, how do I use this technique to lose weight? I wish it was the magic for weight loss. Let me go, and it kind of goes back to the fueling question, doesn't it? All right, let's go with the first question. My foot hurts on the outside. Why do you think that would be? And by the way, when I first started running and I was hurting also, I went to the shoe store and the guy was like, oh, you pronate. And I was like, oh, what does that mean? What's gonna happen? Guys, I hope you pronate. I hope you supinate. I hope your ankle can do everything that it's supposed to do. In flight, your ankle's floppy and relaxed, like your hand. Your ankle is relaxed in flight. And then if you do nothing, if you allow gravity to land this foot, then it will always land on time and where it's supposed to be. Isn't that crazy? That took me a long time, so don't think it's immediate. If you're pronating, it's because you are actively landing the foot. You are looking for the ground. So you're either doing this, or this, or this, or this, or something, but something that's an unnatural way to land, unfortunately. It's called an active landing. That means you are actively trying to put the foot down, which is how 99.9% of us are taught to run. So please know that's everybody. You're taught to run by pushing off the back and reaching with the front, right? Then reach, push, drive, pump your arms, all these muscular efforts, rawr. And in fact, it's none of that. So with the walking question, okay, and again, what if I get injured this way? Well, then relearn the movement before you go back out running so you do not get injured. I promise. It all goes away. That's the best part. Walking is just like the drill we just did. We were hopping, except you don't hop when you walk at all. But if you would shift your body weight forward, feel how light that back foot is. So instead of pushing, you're going to take your hips forward, pull. When I sense that my foot is on the ground, I am not going to like press down into it. I'm going to take my hips forward and pull my foot up. You see, so when you're walking, hips go forward, foot pulls up. Try that when you're at the grocery store. You got the cart, pull your foot up, see? Hips lead, hips lead, foot pulls, body weight's going this way. You have 62% of your body weight from the hip up. And it's a upside down balance when you're standing on one foot. Okay, so you have more body weight going this way. Doesn't it make sense to allow all of that to go first? And then you only have to pull 2% of your body weight. You're keeping up with your falling body. Walking, you're not falling, but you can still lead with and use gravity to your benefit and save your knees, because the less that you do any of this weird stuff in the front and just let that foot come down nice and easy in walking or in running, the nicer you are to the ground, the nicer it will be to you. Isn't that great? And by the way, this is a little, I know I'm almost done, and I'm going to talk about breathing. Somebody watched some of my lives, some of my videos, and he said, I just want you to know that I just thought it was so silly, all your hopping around. He said, but then I just started doing it and listening to what you said, and I shaved 7 minutes off my half marathon. My cadence went up, but my effort went down. See, that's what I'm talking about, right? I don't care if it's silly. It doesn't bother me at all. Hopping is silly. Running is silly. It's fun. It's jumping. It's freedom. And if you let yourself have that, it is a lot of fun. And if I can move and feel better in my movement, so it's developing coordination, it's developing strength, it's developing your ability to move through life, really, because all of us should be standing anyway with our ears, shoulders, hips in line, right? All of us should be doing balance work. So, all of the stuff that I'm teaching is for you to start thinking about your movement. So when you're running, you start to realize the earth is spinning already. We don't even have to do that. It's already, all of it's already happening. We're literally like jumping in, giving a nice little, get started with a nice little pull, and then join the fun, and you have the ability to just use a wall to start that fall practice. So I'll finish with breath. So breathing is like the oldest reflex. You will always breathe. Your body will get air in, I promise. You should think about, if I'm having struggle breathing while I'm running, it's tension, right? You watch the elites, their face looks like relaxed. And so practice breathing when you're not running. You can do things, the breath should be in your ribs here sideways when you're running, because remember, this is to hold your shoulders over your hips. So this is kind of fun. Put your thumb on your navel, put your middle finger on your pubic bone, put your index finger in between both, and let go of everything else. So I just have my index finger here, okay? See how I'm still talking to you? Pull, you take this part of your center and pull it away from your finger. And now hold that. That stays. Can you do that? That's kind of your center of where you're connected to. So if I pull it in, see how it brings me back? Forward, back. That's your center of mass right there. That's your true core, if you want, your center. And so you should be loose everywhere. And as you fall forward, right, that's going to be an involuntary muscle contraction. There's no way you're running the whole time and that's in. This is practice. Okay, so, but I'm here, everything else was relaxed. Now, breathe in to your ribs. Make this part of your body go out this way. So when you're running and you get winded, breathe out. Relax your shoulders, relax tension, get your feet back under you, and exhale to get restarted back into your running. But do some deep breath exercises when you're not running. Expand, use your nose, get as much in there as you can, and then breathe out. So just do some breath strengthening exercises. But when you're running, if you focus simply on allowing your body to free fall and you pulling the foot, you will find that you're releasing tension so much in your upper body that your breathing will regulate with your run. So take that into consideration. Focus on what's really important while you're running, and that's the running. Then when you're not running, have fun with skill practice, strength practice. that's when you can stretch. So I'm not against stretching, and if you go through the 30-day reboot, like I said, it rotates you, it takes you through all that. How to practice the skill, how to do a stretch, how to do some elasticity practice. But I promise you this, if you understand and get comfortable with just little hops, and you get stronger here, and you start to feel that up, 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 when you go running, you won't have shin splints or planars or things like that because you're going to be only using 10% muscle, 2% body weight. So whether you're walking or whether you're running, start to really think, I've got to fall. Okay, use that gravity. All right, guys, I will be back, of course, next Wednesday. I try to keep it about 15 minutes. I appreciate your time. Thank you. And we love getting the feedback in the comments. And someone reached out to this morning and said they went through the reboot. And they said they went out and they haven't felt this good running since school, like since they were a young kid at school. Like, that's what I love hearing. It feels good again. That's what we want. All right, have a great day. Thank you, guys.